I like to do at the very beginning, before I really do too much actual liberty work, is sensitizing my horse to, especially my whip. My treats, he's already sensitized to. That's basically just making sure he actually likes the treats. So if your horse doesn't like treats or doesn't really react or learn with treats, then you'll know that and you can do all this stuff without it. But if your horse is motivated by treats or hay or some sort of food, you can break up carrots into tiny little pieces. So there's a lot that your horse can eat and they will be motivated by. You just have to find what works for your horse. But Maverick's obviously very sensitized to the treats. He knows what's going on with the treats. He's trying to figure out what he needs to do for the treats. Yeah, we're not doing smiles anymore for treats. No, we're not. This is a new video. This is called moving your butt and moving your shoulders. So we're going to show you, and I'm going to turn him a little bit this way first to show you how to do this exercise. But now we're just going to try to use, it's always a sequence, we're always going to use very little energy followed by a little bit of energy followed by a very light touch with this whip. So if I want to move his butt over, I'm going to try to move his butt. No, he wants to do a spin trick. We're not going to do a spin right now. Okay, so I'm trying to move his butt over towards the fence. So what I'm going to do is come around here and put my energy in towards it, and then my whip, and then a little bit like that. A little tickle. I'll do a whole circle so you can see from every angle. Good. Good boy. Okay, now let's do a circle here so you guys can see what it looks like from here. So again, you're going to walk around your horse in a circle. You're going to stay on this side. You're going to kind of block him if he tries to push his head over to you. You're going to try to block him. You're going to come around and use your energy, and you're just pushing your energy of your body. I'm kind of staring right here in this general area of Maverick, pushing him over with my energy. If he doesn't move over with just your energy, then you can use your stick and just kind of tickle it on him right there. In that one spot where you want him to move. Good job. And everything we do on one side, we're going to do on the other side. So we're going to try the other side. So the goal of this is to get him to move his butt over just from the whip and be able to stay in this sweet spot here between his head and his shoulder and not let him cross over. If he wants to cross over, I have this right arm up, I'm blocking him, and I'm pushing him back over there. And then I'm putting all my energy right towards here, and I'm pushing his butt round, 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 round. Pushing that butt. Good. Now ideally you can do it with the front feet perfectly still. Well, one of the front feet. The other front foot can be pivoting around the feet. So ideally, if you have a more showmanship approach to it, it's going to look more like this. Almost lined. And his front feet are going to stay still for the most part. Just the back feet are going to go around. Good. Good. That was pretty. Not too bad. There, to the other side. You might have to really hold this hand underneath his head to not let him move those front legs. You don't want him walking forward. You really want him pivoting. Now he's walking. We don't want that. There we go. Now he's pivoting. Good. That was better. So you can see how he kind of pivoted and then he kind of just walked. And then he pivoted. We really want that back leg crossing in front of that front leg. So now we're going to also do the same thing to his shoulders. And basically we just really want, with eventually just our energy, we really want to be able to just barely move our horse every different direction and separate their body parts into both sides and front and back. So now we're going to do it with the shoulder. So I'm going to start on this side. We're going to walk around him now in a circle around from the head over to his butt. So we're going to be making a curve around giving him treats for every little part of this because he already knows a lot of this stuff, and because he's begging specifically, I'm not going to give him treats, so that eventually he starts to realize that we have to do a lot of different things before we get one little treat. We don't just get a little treat for every single thing we do. Sometimes the treats can get your horse to the point where they're kind of a beggar and trying to do all the things, and it gets kind of overwhelming. So really just give them lots of pets. They don't need the treats all the time. Only at the very beginning, when you're teaching them something new, do you need the treats to really get that new thing seared into their brain. So now we're going to his right, so our left hand's going to be under his chin. He's already trying to move, so whenever they do try to move, we're just going to rub them and wait for them to stop. Just rub and wait for them to stop. Okay, now that he's stopped, we're going to push our hand over towards his butt. And now we're trying to move his front. Now we're running into a fence. Now we're trying to move his front over towards his butt. Over towards his butt. Towards his butt. Ooh, that was pretty good. Good job. Yeah, that was good. So that's the basic exercise that I like to do for desensitizing the sensitizing, the hindquarters and the shoulders. So what we did in the last video was desensitizing, which is rubbing it, and you can even make the noise and do big things and make sure he's not going to be scared of it. Now what we're doing is sensitizing, saying, okay, I want you to move just your shoulder over, and you move just that shoulder over. Good job. Okay, I want you to move just your butt, and you move just your butt. And eventually you'll be able to do all this at liberty without your rope, without your lead rope, without your halter, and even without your whip if you really get good at it and get connected with your horse. But you gotta be able to push his butt over, push his shoulder over, then stop, then other side, push that shoulder, good, push that butt. That even we're not perfect with it, so it takes time to get perfect. You can watch showmanship patterns of people online where they're trotting up like this, then they stop, and then they just turn and they walk right into their horse and they do this perfect shoulder over, and it's amazing. So there's really a lot to it, and it really takes time to perfect, but the more you do it, the better you get. So that's the sensitization exercise.